Buckle up because we're about to take a wild ride through 2023, a year that threw curveballs, delivered many surprises, but amidst it all, there were many lessons learned, insights gained, and opportunities seized. That's what I'm here to discuss today. I'm on a mission to break down my key takeaways from 2023 across three crucial domains: life, business, and the ever volatile stock market. So hit that subscribe button, smash the like button. And you may even want to take some notes because this is going to be one epic journey. So I'll start off with the life and business stuff. It all really goes together, and then we'll get to the stock market stuff. So 2023, I think one of my biggest key takeaways was really that your network equals your net worth. It is so true. You know what they say, that you're the 5 people you surround yourself with. Like it really is so true, because in 2023, the best things I did for myself was getting a ticket to the room, right? I sought out mentors. I joined networking and business groups, and just being around these people, it's infectious. It opens the floodgates of your mind and opens up what you think is possible. Seeing through your own maybe self-limiting beliefs, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like there's so many people out there that have already done what you want to do, and they're there. They want to help you out. Like they're there to guide you. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to overcomplicate things. It's a lot more doable than you think. And, just a few examples. Like this could be something simple as setting up a coffee once a week. Go get coffee with someone who, you think could help you out, or you could be mutually beneficial to. And that's the other thing. It doesn't always have to be like a mentor-student relationship. I'm sure you have friends that you complement each other. You could help them with something. They can help you, develop a skill. You got to start somewhere, right? So I go to these groups. I went to a couple retreats. On one of the retreats, an idea was imparted on me that probably the easiest way to make not $1 million, why shoot small, but $2 million is to develop a $2,000 course in which you teach people anything of value, really, and you sell that to 1,000 people. You just made $2 million. I mean, does that sound like something you can do? That's really achievable when you really break it down to the simplicity. Obviously, it's going to take work. You're going to have to do some research. You're going to have to learn a high value skill, but it's a lot easier and it seems a lot more achievable when you think about it that way as, oh my God, how do I start a business that makes $2 million? So that's definitely something that in the back of my mind, I've been thinking about a lot, and I think I'll develop over the long term here. So that's number one. Your network equals your net worth. Can't stress that enough. I've just seen it in my own life really starting to play out and just opening up a whole new world, right? Getting around the right people. So the second thing I'd say is, I did hard things in 2023, and it's something I want to continue to challenge myself to do. So one example is I ran an Ironman. I had never run even a 5K in my life. Like I've lived a pretty comfortable life, like never really pushed myself, never challenged myself to an extreme like that. And what I started to realize is that comfort is equal to complacency. We all think we want to be comfortable, and that, especially in today's society, it's like seek out comfort above all else, but it really doesn't bring you any happiness or contentment. It gets boring really, really fast if you're not continuously pushing yourself, challenging yourself, right? We are meant to seek out challenge. We get dopamine from accomplishing, big tasks, right? You might get dopamine from instant gratification, but it's just not lasting, right? So, for most of my life, like I said, I never really challenged myself. So running an Ironman, 1.2 mile swim, 56 mile bike, 13.2 mile run, all in under 8 hours, was the hardest thing I ever did. Hardest physical thing, definitely. But it also helped me build a huge level of discipline, right? Because training for that involved basically a part-time job. I mean, it was 6 days a week. I'm out there biking for hours at a time, swimming, running. And then this year, I'm following it up with the 75 Hard Challenge right now, which you guys should definitely look into, which Andy Frisella, the guy who started that, describes as an Ironman for your brain. So challenge yourself. All right, so moving on to the stock market here. I'm going to pull up the S&P 500 performance in a second here. But, as we look back, I think we really have to start here at 2022. 2022, a historically bad year for the stock market, especially tech. Name like Tesla down 70%. In 1 year. Just it was insane, right? The S&P was down 18% in 2022. That was its worst loss since 2008, right? Everything's been up and to the right except for 2018 down a little less than 5%, nothing crazy. It's been green the whole way. So that was really a wake up call, nasty awakening, nightmare, however you want to look at it. But again, I learned a lot in 2022. But, as we moved into 2023, how many times in history, again, if we go back recently here, how many times in history have there been two back-to-back red years, very red years, right? Not in the last 20 years, as you can see. We've had 3 red years in the last 20 plus years. Okay, you go back to the dot-com bust here. Okay, you had a few bad years, but it's just very rare that you have 2 back-to-back red years. And I know all this is easy to say in hindsight, but the point is, it was highly unlikely that in 2023 we were going to have back-to-back red years, because markets are cyclical. Everyone was spouting all the doom and gloom, and the doom and gloomers, they're never right. Like, they're never right. A broke clock is right twice a day, but they're never right. And it's easy to get caught up in all that the crash is coming, the recession's coming, and it doesn't come, because 9 out of 10 years probably the market is green, and we get a correction maybe once a decade, just statistically on average here, right? So just, at the end of 2022, just thinking that, companies that are doing just fine and have been putting up record quarters, and yet the stock price is just down, just so destroyed, like a Tesla. I mean, even if you bought at the end of 2022, you may not have caught the bottom, but it was definitely a great, point to buy either way. And I think that's the important thing to realize. It's not about catching the absolute bottom, because you're not going to catch the absolute bottom, but just being smart. Like, valuations had come down quite a bit. It's not going to last forever. So even if it took 2 years to kind of recover, I mean, you're getting in at great prices. And then 2023, the S&P up 26%. That's actually more than I would have thought. I guess we had that massive December rally. I thought it was closer to 20, but 26% return in 2023. And yet, that's nothing compared to, what some of these individual names did. So again, at the end of 2022, you had all the doom and gloom. These doomers, the constant doomers, are idiots. They're never right. They're always wrong 99.9% of the time. And it always sounds more intelligent to be negative, but they just time after time end up being wrong. So I think just staying out of that, not getting sucked into that worldview is key. Again, just recognizing, maybe macro is out of your control, but am I buying the company that I have a deep conviction in at a great valuation? Yeah, that would have been the case, at the end of 2022. And again, I know it's easy to say in hindsight, but you zoom out, you look at, if I were to pull up a chart of the S&P 500 for the last 100 years, it looks a lot like this period here from 09 to 2023, where it's up and to the right. And there are a couple tiny corrections that on the long-term radar are just a blip, right? They're not relevant. So again, obviously easy to say in hindsight, but markets are up and to the right historically. You're going to have dips along the way, of course. You just think about how it all works. I mean, people's retirement is tied to the market. Everyone's 401k. It can't go down forever, right? Like, this is literally, we would have a revolution in the streets, So these things tend to turn around quickly. And the other key takeaway, I think, for 2023 was that clearly it was a stock picker's market. So again, great year for the S&P, but yet this 26% is nothing compared to the returns on some of these stocks. I mean, Nvidia up 230% in the past year. Tesla, Meta, all these names, again, obviously were beaten down and had terrible 2022s, but just kind of shows you what is possible if you are willing to put in, a little extra work, or really what you own, you have a deep conviction, and knowing when to spot, those asymmetric opportunities. I'm not perfect at this. 2022 was a huge learning year for me. Like, I'll be completely honest. And I had a lot of other stuff going on. I was in the middle of buying a house, so I didn't have a whole lot of cash to BTFD, buy the dip, but definitely learned a lot. So, I'm glad 2022 happened. It was a huge learning year. And, I think I'm ready moving forward. Like, I will not make the same mistakes again. And, 2023, another very eye-opening year. Kind of, again, it's interesting that the S&P is up 26%. I think I'll talk more about this in, I'm going to definitely do a follow-up video about my outlook for 2024. But I think most of the names in the S&P 500, if you were to break out the list of the 500 companies, you probably wouldn't want to own most of the names. And there's two sectors specifically that these days are of most interest to me. So I'm going to be breaking that down in my 2024 outlook video. That'll be coming in the next couple weeks. But we're back. I'm super pumped for 2024. It's going to be a great year. Lots of videos coming, at least one a week, if not more. So if you guys are interested, hop on the train, hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I look forward to hearing from you. This is Vinny from the Investment Club. I'll see you guys next time.